Hello, welcome to the ISB 3.4 baking guide. Now you can use the ISB in Eevee if you want, or take them out, the shapes you make, take them out and put them in other 3D software, which greatly increases the use of the ISB. But there are a few limitations which I have figured out or found out through a fair bit of experimentation, which I will talk you through. But needless to say, you can pretty much bake almost anything from this, from the ISB, into physical geometry. So what we are going to do is talk through it. Basically, when you open the new ISB version, you will see this area here, texture baking, and what you got is your outputs. So these are the only outputs you're really going to need to get all the information to make it look pretty much exactly the same. So we've just got some bog standard cobblestone texture there. Excuse the noise surrounding me. It's a wind up. So yeah, if you were to control shift click with no wrangler, you would see the color information. So we're going to bake that out. Edgeware, it depends. I mean, there's not going to be any edgeware on this, so you don't need that, but it's an output if you need it that will add the edgeware color to this. Abstract color, obviously separate output, and the displacement, which we're going to bake, is this, and the bump, and we don't need to bake any emission data. I don't really know why that's there, because emission is just a color sent through an emission node. You can't bake it to glow. That doesn't happen. Anyway, so yeah, so we're going to bake this stuff out, and we're going to texture preview here if you need it. So when you bake it, you'll have it in the here, so you can control shift click that to have a butcher's at it, and there's your mapping. Though UV is pretty much required for baking, so there's probably not any need really to change that, but it's there if you want it. Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at how we bake this stuff. No, first we're gonna look at the limitations that I mentioned, and I'll talk about them first. So let me just bring our stuff back. So what you can do with the ISB that I can't seem to translate to the Displace Modifier is effectively change the direction of the geometry after it's been displaced, which is what the ISB does. So for example, now that this has been displaced like this, it's not very rough, but if I add a bit of distortion, what the distortion is going to do, 0.2, is it's going to take the geometry that's already been displaced and then shuffle it about, up, down, left, right, forward, backwards, whatever, depending on the color that's going through. So with that, we can do something like this, which, you know, does that. We can kind of replicate it, but it involves another displace modifier, which I will also talk about. So this cannot be translated, which means if you've got a brick wall, let's have a butcher's, let's turn off a Voronoi. If you had a sideways brick wall like that, and you then went into wait, where's distort? Brick distortion. If we started to distort the bricks, let's just try a small amount first, 0.2. No, let's go 0.5. So this stuff, that's what I'm going to call it. This stuff, I can't seem to get that to work very well in the displace modifier, because not only does it not really translate this very well, don't mind all this, the strength is too high, but it also inverts the displacement on one side of this cube, as we may see. So that is not possible as of yet. But what we are going to do now is stop talking about it and do something about it. So Voronoi tiles, I'm going to turn off the distortion for now, and all I want to do is bake this. Really, that's it. We just want to bake this out, have it copied. So in fact, no, we are going to add some distortion so we can see what the issues that arise from it are. 0.1, not 0.2. 0.15. I just want a bit, but it doesn't look like there's enough. Yeah, there you go. So this, as I say, this distortion is happening after it's already been displaced. It's then being told to do something, and we'll try and replicate it, but it's really tough. So first, what we need to do is to head over to the texture baking area and Shift D that and move it on the X like this, and then we're going to click the cross so that we don't need a material on that, but we do need one on this. So the first one we're going to do is color. So Control Shift click color. If you haven't got this image editor up here, just do one of them, drag it down. So in here we actually, I need to click that. It's going to look like this when you first open it. So we want to click new, and we're going to make an image for the color information. So we'll call it ISB col, and 4K is already set up, so 4096. We don't need that yet, that's for displacement, so that will do. And once you've done that, you want to change this one to the same one, ISB col. And then under your render settings, you want render 1, not any more than that, just the one pass. We don't need anything else, all your fancy lights and all that stuff, no. And under performance tiles, you want 4K. Whatever image size this is needs to be reflected here. Alright, so that's on 4K. Now we move over to bake. So we got bake. Click that, and then from this drop down you want to select emit, because once we Control Shift click this, it's going into an emission node, so you can preview it. Might as well bake it. So yeah, render 1, emit, bake. And this should take seconds. It is going to take seconds. Huzzah. Oh, before I do that, this shape has already been unwrapped. So, as you can see, I think I might have not even cubed, I might have just gone new unwrap. That's what I did. So, I've just unwrapped that real quickly. And that's why the UV is here, or the image is here. So that's the color done. And now we're going to bake. We'll come back to displacement. We'll do the bump next. I might have to look into roughness as well, actually. I didn't. What's going on? Why is that not displaying? There we go. So Control Shift click bump, and we want to click the cross and create a new image, and we'll call it ISB bump. Same old 4K bush. Change that to ISB bump, and then we just gotta click bake again. So yeah, just make sure this is the same as this, and you've got this selected. Then you may bake. You may bake this bad boy away. And then once that's done, same again, image, save as, or what did I save the, did I save the ISB col? I didn't do this, I should have done this. Right, so we need to click, image, save as, and I make this a TIFF for the lossless format. You can choose JPEG, PNG, whatever. Save as. And because we didn't save the color image, we need to select it here, and then image, save as, TIFF for me, not Targa. I don't know what you would do with that. Save as. There's a cat sitting above my head, making a lot of, now it's meowing. Brilliant. Yes, so image, did I save that? I've forgotten already because the cat's just dragged my attention. Yes, I did. Okay, so that's done. So now we want to Control Shift click the displacement, and for this we've got to save the information slightly differently. Why isn't that updating? Control Shift click. I don't know what's going on there. And this is what we're going to bake. So new image, new ISB disp, and this one we want to be 32-bit float, and then click OK, and then change this one to what we just made, what we did just make right there in the top. ISB disp, selected, big. put that thing in the oven. Alright, and now this one we are going to image save as, and it needs to be an open EXR under file format and float full. Those two necessary. Save as. Yes, let's do that. Okay, so now we might as well hide that. I keep forgetting my keyboard thing. I think that's done it. Did it. So yeah, we duplicated this. It's already been unwrapped. So now we can just add a new material, and we're going to start putting in our bits and bobs. So I'm going to tell you what we're getting, but I'm getting it from a quick menu because that's its purpose, to be quick. So for me, you want an image texture times 2, and we want a mix. We don't need a mix RGB, we need a bump and a texture coordinate. And I think that's the lot, you know. I don't think we need any more than that. No, that's enough. So grab your UVs, put them into the vector of the image node and the other one. So like that. And then open. With this top one, we're going to be using ISB, I'm in the wrong place, ISB cull. And in the lower of the two, we will be using ISB bump. Nope. I picked the displacement. I meant that. And we're going to plug this fella into there. We're going to plug this fella into there. And then this chat into there. Alright. So now we got the bump information. And we can actually, if you wish, switch over to Eevee. Right about now. Once there's nothing using any of the infinite builders being displayed, because if there is anything in the scene that is using it, Blender will crash. It hates my shaders with a vengeance. What I found in Eevee is the bump is always much stronger, so I'll take that down to 0.2. So it's just a little bit more subtle. And now we want to make it look like the other one, so we need the displacement. So this has already got a subdivision surface at 5 in the viewport. I'm not going to bother rendering it, so I don't need to change that. And you want to add a displace modifier. Click new, and then under coordinates you want UV, and direction for now will be normal, and take the mid-level down to 0. And then under your texture properties we want to click open, and wherever you saved it, ISB disp, and there you go. That's the ISB in Eevee. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, we've already set all this, so that's why it's working. So let me show you, because this actually, let me just Alt H. Let me just bring back the other. Oh no, don't, because I'll crash Eevee. I mean, I'll crash Blender. Yeah, if there's, as I say, anything that's got any infinite builder displayed on anything in the scene, and you try and switch to render mode in Eevee, I got lucky there. But if you do that, it will crash. So cycles. Now I can go back and have a butcher's. Once you're done with all your maps, by the way, reconnect here. Control Shift click. Boom. So the colouring is likely because of the ambient occlusion, adding a bit of dust, which we can, or is it the roughness as well? It could be the roughness. Let's have a look. Come here. Let's put that up to 0.8. Now it's going to be, there's some dust on that, which I'll show you how to add before, but let's discuss this displacement first. So it's done, you know, a perfectly reasonable job, but some of this distortion isn't quite happening in the same way. So here you can see it's pushing this extruding geometry over to the right, but it's not doing that here. It's just coming out forwards. This one is being pushed over to the right as well, but here it's just coming forward, and that's because it's extruding in the direction of the normal, which in this case these ones are pointing forwards and these ones are pointing to the right. So it's not going to do that. You can muck around, and maybe someone can tell me exactly what the crack is with this, but for now I'll show you what I mean. What's going on with my shift key? Thank you. Let me check my card. Still working, jolly good. So yeah, we can just hide that for a second, and now we can go back to Eevee. So in the Displace Modifier, you can switch this to RGB to XYZ. My little webcam is covering that, but the choice is not custom normal. There, it's 2 down from normal, custom normal, RGB to XYZ. What's going on? There. What? I can't move my camera in the screen, so I can't see what's going on. Normal, down, back up. Yes, okay. So this is RGB to XYZ. This is what it does. You can change it to global, but then it does this. It sucks in the geometry this side, but points it in the right direction that side. And I have no idea at all how to get this to push forward. I thought it was a case of flipping the normals, but it's not using the normals. So that had absolutely no effect. I tried inverting the UVs, absolutely no effect. I don't know what to do about that. I don't know what to do. So normal is the best, but it's not the end there. There is more, because we can't translate that bending of the geometry into a normal displace modifier. What we can do is add another one and make that use RGB or XYZ. So if we put another displace in, click new, and oh, my face is in the way again. Can I drag that up? Can I drag this up? Yeah, I don't need that much space. Okay, there we go. Now I can see. So first, take down the thingamajig, the mid-level. Switch that to UV. It looks fluffy. It's a fluffy rock wall. Super soft. Yeah, there's too much strength, so let's go 0.5. And then over here, when we're in the texture bidoodle, this one is texture 005. So when I'm over here, this menu where it says displace, you need to make sure you're on the right one. So texture 005, and I'm going to add something, and I'm going to go Voronoi and really take that strength down 0.1. And now if we switch this to, oh, here we go again, RGB XY. Oh, bloody hell. It's really bad placement of my camera thing. Yeah, and then let's have a look what it does. So it's going to do that. So you've got an element of being able to warp it in different ways, and you can change the texture itself here. So we could do clouds, and let's do a Voronoi in here, Voronoi F1. So you're getting the same effect basically as, I can't bring the other one, no I can if I switch back over to cycles, and let me bring other one back. So you can see that this, we're getting some, it's different, but it's the same concept. Once the geometry's out, shuffle it about a bit. That's what it's doing, effectively. So you can get that added extra by just adding more displace modifiers and layer as many as you want to really muck with the geometry once you've got it all where you want it, how you want it to look and stuff. And then when you're finished, if you wanted to export this as like an OBJ or FBX or something, because you want to use it in Unity or C4D, whatever the reason, we'll need to first apply the subdiv surface with Control A when you're hovering over that. Control A on the first displace and Control A on the second displace, like that. And now it's there. It's actual geometry that you can export and do stuff with. So yeah, all quads there. Nice, nice. Yes, I'll show you the last thing. The adding a bit of occlusion, a bit of dust to this. What you need to do is in Shift A input in your shader editor, Ambient Occlusion. Find a color ramp. I think it's in Converter. And mix RGB. We do in fact need one. So you want to take the AO or the top color into this. Control Shift click that just so we can have a butchers. And we want to see a bit more of that dark. We want to see a little bit more of that dark. That's nice. I like this. So very nice. And then we plug this into the bottom of the Mix RGB. And then we plug this into the top of the Mix RGB. And the reason we do it this way is because we're going to multiply from this menu. We're going to multiply this information over this information. And when we reduce this factor, it's going back to 1. So you can control the level of the how much dust you want by using that slider there as well. And then we want to plug that into there. Control Shift click that there, and then we get a little bit of dust. It's a bit hard to see actually, isn't it? There you go. You can see it happening on the sides there. See that? It's nice that. Yeah, so without it, it looks like that. With it, with loads of it, it looks like that. It's not exactly the same colour, but I'm not quite sure why that is. Something slightly different. I'll look into it. But most importantly for me, the shape is as close to that as it can be. So that's it. That is how you take something like this into other software or Eevee. And that means, as I've said in my IRB baking guide jobby, using it in Eevee means you can use volumetrics way easier. I love volumetrics in Eevee. It's so easy, so quick to use, setting up God rays, all that kind of stuff. It's so bloody easy and fast. So that makes it fun. Then now I can bring this into Eevee. Shut up, Nick. Alright. Okay. I hope that was useful, informative, whatnot, and I hope you have even more fun with the ISB. Yeah. Use it wisely. I'm going to go. I've been Nick. You've been you. I'll see you next time. Bye.